5 days ago, my coolant reservoir looked a little low. I was in a hurry. I didn't want to drive to the auto parts store, and I definitely didn't want to spend $20 on a pre-mixed jug of coolant, so I grabbed a garden hose and topped off my radiator with straight tap water. Every mechanic tells you never to do this. I thought they were just trying to upsell me on expensive fluids. I was wrong. By day 5, that one lazy decision turned my engine into a ticking time bomb. The coolant didn't look like coolant anymore. It looked wrong, almost contaminated. When I opened my radiator cap, it was cloudy. And I had been driving the car for days without knowing what was actually happening inside. No warning lights, no strange sounds, nothing that would make a reasonable person stop and think. And then I was staring at a repair bill I did not see coming, the worst part. The warning signs had been there the entire time. I just didn't know what I was looking at. If you have ever topped up your radiator with whatever water was nearby without thinking twice, or simply never looked at what is actually inside your cooling system, this video is for you. And if you have ever ignored something small on your car and told yourself you would deal with it later, hit subscribe, because that is exactly how this started. So here is exactly what happened. It started with that simple tap water top up. I had been driving the car daily, short trips, nothing unusual. The car felt completely normal, but adding unpurified water with minerals and oxygen directly into a hot, pressurized metal system was already starting a chain reaction. Day 1. I opened the hood for what I thought was a routine check to see how my tap water hack was holding up, and when I pulled the radiator cap slowly, carefully, what I saw stopped me. When I looked inside, it didn't even feel like coolant anymore. It looked like something was mixing in it that shouldn't be there, cloudy, discolored, and there were tiny droplets of something floating in the fluid that did not belong. My first instinct was to rationalize it. Condensation, maybe just a cosmetic thing from the tap water. Nothing serious. I put the cap back on and drove to work anyway. That was mistake number 1. Day 2. The temperature gauge started behaving differently. Not dramatically, it wasn't climbing into the red, but it was taking longer to stabilize during warm-up, a small thing, easy to dismiss. So I dismissed it. I turned the radio up and kept going, and the car kept running. Which is the problem with slow damage. The car keeps running while something inside quietly gets worse. Day 3 is when I noticed something I couldn't ignore anymore. And that's when it started to feel real. I started the car in the morning and let it warm up, and when I turned the heater on automatically without thinking, the air coming through the vents wasn't warm, not cold, not broken, just less heat than it should have been producing. And that is when I stopped dismissing things and started actually paying attention. And this is where I wish someone had stopped me and explained this before day 1. Your engine generates enormous heat every time it runs. The cooling system manages that heat using coolant, a specifically engineered fluid that keeps the engine from overheating, prevents rust, and lubricates the water pump. The heater core inside your dashboard uses hot coolant to warm the air in the cabin. When that coolant has been diluted with straight water or contaminated, losing its thermal properties, the heater is the first place you feel it, before the temperature gauge goes critical. Before steam comes from the hood, the heater tells you first. I felt it on day 3 and still didn't act. That was mistake number 2. Day 4, and is where it stopped being something I could explain away. I checked the coolant reservoir again. The level had dropped, not by a lot but visibly lower than it had been 2 days before. And fluid doesn't disappear on its own. It either leaks externally, which I would see on the ground, or it goes somewhere internal. I crouched down. No puddle, no stain on the ground. Which meant that fluid was going somewhere inside the engine, somewhere it had absolutely no business being. And then it got worse, because what I found next confirmed it. I thought the tap water alone was the problem, but it wasn't. It was just the catalyst. And that's when I realized this had already been happening long before I noticed it. This is the part of the story that changed everything I thought I understood. Because up to this point I had been assuming that diluting the coolant with water was causing all the issues. But fluid doesn't just vanish into an engine block without a pathway. And a pathway that doesn't belong. A gap between the coolant passages and the combustion chamber has one primary cause, the head gasket. And that's when everything clicked. Not a catastrophic failure, Not the kind that blows smoke out the exhaust and leaves you stranded on the side of the highway. A slow, almost invisible seep. The kind that can go undetected for months. The kind your dashboard never tells you about. The tap water hadn't directly blown the head gasket overnight, but introducing plain water, which lowers the boiling point and creates steam pockets, had stressed a system that was already compromised. It had taken a slow leak that was quietly doing damage and turned it into something I could finally see. And here is what that means for you, because this is the part most people never hear. A head gasket doesn't have to fail completely to cause serious damage. A small seep allows combustion gases into the cooling system and coolant into places it shouldn't be. The car keeps driving, the temperature gauge stays in range. The warning lights stay off, and the damage accumulates invisibly, silently, until one day something fails in a way that seems sudden but has actually been building for months, maybe longer. Day 5. I didn't drive the car. Instead, I did what I should have done on day 1. I actually looked at everything properly. Not a glance under the hood, but a real inspection. And what I found confirmed what I had been suspecting and avoiding for 4 days. The fluid had taken on a milky, slightly foamy appearance that I now know how to recognize immediately: oil in the coolant. That milky color is what happens when oil and coolant mix, and they mix through one primary pathway, a compromised head gasket. The same slow seep that had been letting coolant migrate had also been allowing oil to cross in the other direction, and by day 5, after 4 days of continued driving, the contamination had progressed to a level that was unmistakable. I also found something on the oil filler cap that told the same story from the other direction. A creamy, coffee-colored residue on the inside of the cap, evidence that coolant contamination had reached the oil system as well, not in catastrophic quantities, but enough to confirm that I had been driving with a cooling system and an oil system that were communicating through a pathway that was never supposed to exist. That is, when I did something I should have done on day 1, I tested the system instead of guessing. Because here is something most people do not know. You can confirm a head gasket issue from the outside without removing the engine, using 2 basic tools. The first is a coolant system pressure test kit that pressurizes the system and shows you exactly where a leak is occurring. The second is a combustion leak detection fluid, a chemical test that changes color if exhaust gases are present in the coolant, which is the clearest external confirmation of a head gasket problem you can get without opening anything up. Both of these tools are simple, inexpensive, and easy to use. And having that information before I walked into a repair shop changed every conversation I had with every mechanic I called afterward. Because for the first time, I actually knew what I was dealing with. And knowing what you are dealing with before someone hands you an estimate is worth more than almost anything else in an automotive repair situation. I also drained the contaminated mess completely and ran a flush through the system before refilling with proper, pre-mixed coolant. And I changed the oil immediately, because by day 5 the contamination had already reached the oil. The flush cost $12. The oil change was overdue anyway. Those 2 things stopped the contamination from spreading further and gave me time to make a clear, calm decision rather than a panicked one. All the products I used, the pressure kit, the combustion detector, the flush, and the correct coolant mixture, are linked in the description below. Here is what stayed with me after all of this. Every single day I drove that car, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, I made a choice. Not a dramatic choice. Not a choice that felt like a choice at all. Just the small, quiet choice to keep going, to assume everything was probably fine, to deal with it later. And every one of those days made the eventual outcome worse. The contamination spread, the damage expanded, the repair became more complex. That is how this works. That is how almost every major automotive repair starts, not with a dramatic failure. With a series of small moments where the warning was there and the choice was to keep going. Drop a comment right now. When did you last actually check your coolant? Not your oil, not your tires, your coolant, because I think most people watching this have never properly looked at it. And if this video just made you walk out to your car and share it with someone who drives, because this is exactly the information that prevents the repair bill I almost could not avoid. Water didn't destroy my engine overnight. It did it slowly. It wasn't sudden. It was happening the whole time. I just ignored it.